Right, brothers and sisters, this week we are covering JavaScript Basics. We are learning one of the most important and also one of the most difficult lessons of the course, and this is how to get input into our JavaScript programs and produce output from our JavaScript programs, okay? Some of the principles that we will learn this week really remind me of addresses or social security numbers, okay? If you think about an address, I live at 456 West 2600 North in Lehi, Utah. Okay, my address is unique. It has a couple components that make it unique: the street address, the city, state, and zip code. Okay, there's no other person, no other home in the world that has the same address that I do. Okay, there may be a 456 West 2600 North in the next city over, right? But that combination of street address, city, state, and zip code make my address unique, okay? If you think about a government identification number, in the United States we have social security numbers, and usually governments have unique identifiers that they assign to people. If you think about your unique government identifier, that identifier uniquely identifies you. There's hopefully no other person that has that unique government identifier. There may be some overlap between countries, but the combination of country or government and the unique identifier specifically identifies you and no one else, okay? And this is a very important concept for us in JavaScript. If you look at the reading, there's this example, okay? The HTML document is actually pretty small. If you look between the body tags here, there are only a couple lines, okay? But what you will see is an input HTML element and a div HTML element. And both of these have the ID attribute, okay? The ID attribute, it must be unique in the HTML document, okay? The name input box is put on this very first input HTML element, and it cannot be put anywhere else. Same with the output div ID on the div HTML element. These need to be unique. They need to be unique like an address or a government issued social security number. They need to be unique because our JavaScript programs also all semester long are going to spend time getting values out of an HTML document by using that unique ID. Okay, you can see here document.getElementById, which is a fancy way of saying go to my HTML document and get an element with this unique ID. Once you've found that element, I want you to get the value out of that element, or in other words, whatever text exists inside of the text box, okay? Imagine if we wrote a JavaScript program that said go to the name input box, but down below in our HTML we had two text boxes that were called name input box. It would be like me giving directions to a friend to come to my house, saying come to 456 West 2600 North, and they get in their car and drive down the street and find two houses that are numbered 456 West 2600 North right next to each other. How will my friend know which house is mine? The unique identifier has been put on two different houses, and the same is true for our HTML documents, okay? The IDs must be unique. They need to be unique because we're going to tell our programs go to this specific element and get a value out and store it as a variable, okay? So just know that unique element IDs are important for our JavaScript programs for the rest of the semester.